Welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE optional. India's largest online learning platform, Unacademy. From Unacademy, you will be getting daily live classes, live tests, quizzes, courses, unlimited access to course material and videos on UPSC prelims and main. Download Unacademy learning app, get daily free live classes. This is Kiran Anishetti, faculty for Public Administration, Political Science, Polity, Issues in Governance, and Ethics. I have done my MBA. I have done my MA in Public Administration and Political Science. Got UGC net qualified in both the subjects, Public Administration and Political Science. About to complete my LLB. Took civils mains 4 times with Public Administration as optional. Each time scoring around % in my Public Administration optional. With regard to UPSC teaching, I have more than 10 years of UPSC teaching experience. I have taught in Telangana Government ST IAS Study Circle, Telangana Government Minority IAS Study Circle, Super 60 IAS Academy, Hyderabad, Narayana IAS Academy, Hyderabad, Challengers IAS Academy, Hyderabad, and Shine India IAS Academy, Hyderabad. If you have any doubts, queries, you can contact me on my Telegram channel. It is Unacademy _ Kiran Anishetti. Today we are going to discuss very important topic in Public Administration optional, paper 1, that is decision making theory by Herbart Simon. Every year one question will come in mains from this topic. Very important topic. You can prepare with the top 100 educators of Unacademy, such as Mrunal Patel, Roman Saini, Sudarshan Gujjar, etc. Unacademy will be covering UPSC syllabus comprehensively, such as polity, issues in governance, international relations, geography, science and technology, history, optional courses, environment and ecology, art and culture, current affairs, Indian economy, answer writing techniques, etc. Academy is offering plus subscription in which the aspirant will be getting daily live classes, test series, unlimited practice, structured schedule. For 12 months it is 44,000. If you use my promo code, that is capital KIRAN, you will be getting it 39,600. For 24 months it is 64,000. If you use my promo code, that is capital KIRN, you will be getting it 57,600. Unacademy has come up recently with mechanic pattern of subscription in which the aspirant gets daily live classes, test series, unlimited practice, structured schedule, personal mentorship. This is one of the salient features of iconic subscription. The aspirant who opts for iconic subscription, he will be getting personal guidance and mentorship from the faculty, that is educator. For instance, if you use my promo code, you will be getting 10% discount anyhow. For 1 year, is 64,000. If you use my promo code, you will be getting it 57,600. For 24 months, that is for 2 years, it is 99,000. If you use my promo code, you will be getting at 89,100. Apart from 10% discount, if you use my promo code, I will be guiding you personally with regard to Public Administration optional, Political Science optional, General Studies Paper 2 and General Studies Paper 4. Personal mentorship or personal guidance is very, very essential to crack UPSC exam. Very essential. Yes, I strongly recommend mechanics subject. Daily questions on mains you will be getting, study planner, personal feedback from the faculty you will get. These are salient features of iconic subscript. These are the salient features of iconic subscript. Decision making by Herbert A. Simon. Herbert Simon is one of world famous administrative thinkers. He born in 1916 in USA. He received his PhD in political science. Just a minute, friends. Small correction. He born in 1916, US. He received his PhD from political science from University of Chicago. From University of Chicago. Started his career in municipal administration. His contribution to administrative thought is seminal. His principal publications are Administrative Behavior 1947, Fundamental Research in Administration 1953, Organizations, etc. He got Nobel Prize in 1977 for his contribution for decision-making process. He got Nobel Prize for his contribution for decision-making process. In 1977, he got the Nobel Prize. Herbert Simon was greatly influenced by Mary Parker Follett, Elton Mayo, the chief exponent of human resource relations theory, Chester I. Bernard, etc. Simon criticized classical principles of administration as proverb, which are against one another. One of the major criticism advanced by Herbert A. Simon against principles of administration. As we know, one of the basic tenets of one of the basic tenets of classical theory is that there are certain principles of administration such as span of control, unity of command, specialization, hierarchy, etc. These principles of administration can be applied universally. That means they can be applied in governmental organizations, they can be applied in non-governmental organizations, they can be applied in charitable organizations, they can be applied in private organizations. The same way, irrespective of national and cultural settings, they can be applied in USA, UK, in African countries, in Asian countries. Hence, these principles of administration are universal. But Herbert Simon criticizes them as proverb. Why proverb? What do you mean to say? Criticizing administrative principles as proverbs. Proverbs, most of the times, they are antagonistic to each other. Like sometimes we say that we should be slow. In our Telugu language, we have a saying, Nidaname Pradhanam. That means you need to be as slow as possible. That should be the core principle. But at the same time, there is also a proverb, Alasyam Amrutam Visham. That means the more you delay, it is like poison. Hence, you give contradictory statement to a single principle, that is being slow. Being slow. On one hand, you say that slow is very important principle, central principle. For success, वो कछुए का कहानी रहता है ना, उसमें वह जो है वो धीरे धीरे चलती है, इस वजह से वो उस दौड़ में वो जीत जाती. Hence, the elders say we should be as slow as possible. But at the same time, being slow is criticized as poison. So, which principle to be followed? In the same way, the administrative principles are antagonistic to each other. For instance, I will tell you one example. There is an administrative principle called unity of command. Unity of command. Unity of command means all the employees of the organization should be reporting to one single boss. This is unity of command. All the employees of the organization should report to one single boss. For instance, in this case, A is the supreme boss. To A, all the employees of the organization like B, C, D, E, F, H, all of them will be reporting to A. But there is another principle called span of control. Span of control. What do you mean to say span of control? Span of control means each supervisor has a limited capacity to supervise over. Each supervisor has a limited capacity to supervise over employees. Administrative thinker like Urvik, he says, a supervisor can supervise directly, he can supervise the work of his subordinates, not more than 5 to 6. Not more than 5 to 6 workers directly be subordinated, supervised by their superior officer. Not more than 5. But at the same time, you say that all the employees of the organization should report to one single boss. If the organization has 100 members, all the 100 members should be reporting to one single boss. But on the other hand, you say, under span of control, the supervisor has a limited capacity of direct supervision over his subordinates. Hence, he cannot directly supervise not more than, we cannot directly supervise more than 5 to 6 subordinates. Not more than 5 to 6 subordinates. Which principle to be followed? Do you follow unity of command or span of control? Both are antagonistic to each other. Yet, you say that these principles are universally applicable. Hence, Herbart Simon criticizes these principles of administration as proverbs because they are antagonistic to each other. They are antagonistic to each other. They are antagonistic to each other. In the same way, there are principles, hierarchy, and specialization. When you have rigid hierarchy, specialization or division of work cannot be achieved. When we have rigid hierarchy, specialization or division of work cannot be achieved. Hence, hierarchy and division of work, they are antagonistic to each other. Hierarchy and division of work, they are antagonistic to each other. They are antagonistic to each other. That's why Herbert Simon criticizes classical principles of administration as proverbs because they tend to be antagonistic to one another. For Simon, organization is a structure of decision makers. Organization is a structure of decision makers. What does it mean? Organization is a structure of decision makers. For instance, if you take revenue administration, at an apex level, you will have chief secretary. Under chief secretary, there will be district collector. Under district collector, there will be joint collector. Under joint collector, there will be deputy collector or RDO, revenue divisional officer. Under RDO, there will be tehsildar. Under tehsildar, there will be deputy tehsildar. Under deputy tehsildar, there will be revenue inspector. There will be revenue inspector. This is the structure of organization. This structure resembles hierarchy of classical approach. The difference between the hierarchy of classical approach and Herbert Simon's enunciation that organization is structure of decision makers. What Herbert Simon says, the organization is structure of decision makers. That means at each level of organization, decisions will be made. The chief secretary will be making decisions. The district collector will be taking decisions with regard to district administration. Joint collector will be taking decisions. Revenue divisional officer will be taking decisions. Tehsildar will be taking decisions. Tehsildar will be taking decisions. At the same time, deputy tehsildar will be taking decisions. RI will be taking decisions. This is how organization is structure of decision making. Organization is structure of decision. Decisions will be taken at various stages of organization. Good morning, all. Namaskar. But the difference is that the decisions that are taken at apex level will impact more, and the decisions that are taken at lower rung in the organization will impact less numbers. The decisions that are taken at apex level, they impact more number of people. For instance, the decisions taken by Director General of Police, it will impact the entire land order administration in the state. The decisions that are going to be taken by district superintendent of police, it will impact the police personnel in the district and law and order administration in the district. And the decisions that are taken by deputy superintendent of police DSP will be impacting the police personnel who are working in that subdivision. In the same way, the decisions that are taken by station house officer, it will have impact on the people who are in the jurisdiction of that particular station. This is how decisions will be taken at various points of time, the various organizations. They will be taken at various organizational levels. But the difference is that the decisions that are taken at the apex level will impact more number of people. On the other hand, the decisions that are taken at lower rung of the organization will impact less number of people or employees. Simon propounds following three phases in decision-making process. He enunciates three phases in decision-making process. Three phases in decision-making process. What are they? Intelligence activity, searching for the situation in the environment which requires decision. The decision maker tries to understand the environment. Intelligence activity means the decision maker will search for an appropriate situation in the environment which requires decision making. Here, the decision maker tries to understand the environment. For instance, I am a manufacturer of detergent soaps and liquid detergents like Dettol. Constantly, I will be surveilling the environment. Environment means not physical environment, but the socio-political economic environment. In the context of corona pandemic, being the manufacturer of detergents, I will take the decision to manufacture sanitizers and sanitizers, vehicle sanitizers, store sanitizers, surface sanitizers, etc. Since I've been already established in the industry, I know the intricacies and I will take the decision. In the same way, I'm a manufacturer of cotton shirts, cotton South Indian dhotis, lungis, cotton underwears. In the context of, constantly I will be supervising, surveilling the external environment. In the context of corona pandemic, I will take the decision to manufacture masks, mask, cotton masks, which are easy to wash and you can reuse for n number of times. And we will be very comfortable because our climate is hot climate. When you use cotton sanitizers, it will be very comfortable for you. This is how The phase of intelligence activity comprises constant searching for the situation in the environment which requires decision. Constant search for the situation in the environment which requires decision making. And here the decision maker tries to understand the environment. It becomes a design activity. In this phase, the decision maker analyzes all possible alternate courses of action and their consequences. In the phase of design activity, decision maker analyzes all possible alternate courses of action and their consequences. He will try all possible alternate courses of action. If I want to manufacture sanitizer, I'm sorry. In the second phase of decision making process, that is design activity, the decision maker analyzes all possible alternate courses of action. For instance, I decided to manufacture sanitizer. What type of sanitizer do I need to manufacture? Hand sanitizer, surface sanitizer, vehicle sanitizer, so on and so forth. In this phase, the decision maker analyzes all possible alternate courses of action and their consequences. And their consequences. This phase comprises choice activity. This phase comprises selecting one of the various courses of action. This phase comprises selecting one of the various courses of action. That means choice activity means we will choose any one of alternate courses of action. That means choice activity involves taking the actual decision. That is choosing one course of action amongst all the possible alternate courses of action. According to Simon, there exists fact and value component in decision making process. This is very important, friends. Try to understand. Simon says there exists fact and value component in decision making process. Fact is a statement of reality indicating the existing deed or state of things. Value is an expression of preference. Fact is a statement of reality, indicating the existing deed or state of things. 2 days ago, there were torrential rains in Hyderabad city. That is fact. Last month in Bombay city, there were torrential rains. Fact. This year, we have bountiful of rainfall. In fact, excess rainfall in our country. Fact. Hence, fact is a statement of reality, indicating the existing state or state of things, indicating existing things. What it exists today, bountiful of rainfall. That is state of affairs, which is reality. Value is an expression of preference. I want to become IPS. That is my preference. I prefer IPS more than IAS. That is my preference. My institute director, when we used to prepare for civil services, he used to say, for a district collector or for the IAS officer, he will be known as IAS officer to the people because of an attender who will be beside the IAS officer. Always you will observe one attender will be accompanying the IAS officer with clothes, with white cap and a kind of badge on his chest. In our Telugu language, we call him as Billabantu, batch attender or batch peon. Through that batch attender, we will come to know the person is an IAS officer. But for an IPS officer, his uniform itself reflects his position. Hence, I prefer IPS more than IAS. That is my expression. That is my preference. Value is expression of my preference. I give first preference to IPS. That is value. Because value involves an expression of preference. While giving preference to 23 or 24 services in civil services exam, I will give first preference to IAS or IPS. That is value, which comprises expression of preference. Comprises expression of preference. Means are aimed at achieving some goals. These goals in turn may be means to achieve some distant. To crack UPSC civil services may be my goal, but that goal in itself may be means to achieve some distant goal. That means the goal that is to crack UPSC itself will become means to achieve some higher goal. For instance, Arvind Kejriwal, he was an IRS officer. To crack UPSC was one of his choice preferences. He cracked it. After having cracked, after having worked as IRS, he joined in politics and he became Chief Minister of Delhi. Cracking UPSC has become one of the goal to crack UPSC has become means to achieve some distant goal, that is to attain a political post. Means are aimed at achieving some goals. These goals in turn may be means to achieve some distant goals. To achieve some distant. With regard to the decisions that lead to the selection of final goals, value component predominate. With regard to the decisions that lead to selection of final goals, value component will predominate. I want to become IPS. That is my goal. I want to become chief minister or a cabinet minister. That is a goal. While selecting the final goal, in that decision, which selects final goal, in that value component will predominate. In that value component predominate. And as far as the decisions that lead to implementation of goals, actual component predominant. I want to become IPS. That is my goal, final goal. While choosing my final goal, value predominant. My preference plays vital role. Whether to choose IPS or whether to choose a handsome job, a corporate job, whether to choose a teaching job. While choosing, while deciding these final goals, my preference will play vital role. My preference means what? Value. The value component will predominate. Value component will predominate. As far as the decisions that lead to implementation of goals, actual component will predominate. I want to become IPS or IAS. That is my final goal. In order to enforce my goal, that is to become IAS or IPS, I will join in a coaching institution. While joining in coaching institution, I will depend on facts, whether the faculty is in a position to guide me properly with regard to UPSC. Will faculty be evaluating my answer scripts personally? Will the faculty be guiding me personally? Will the faculty be giving the material prepared by himself? All these are facts. Based on these facts, I will join in the institution. Hence, the decisions that lead to selection of my final goal, my preference, that is value component predominates. On the other hand, with regard to enforcement of my final goal, actual component predominate. These are facts. Whether the faculty will be evaluating my scripts or not, whether the faculty be guiding me personally or not, whether the faculty be giving his material prepared by himself. All these are facts. Based on these facts, I will join in the institution. That means the decisions related to enforcement of or realization of my goal, I am taking the decision based on fact. Hence, actual component will predominate with regard to the decisions lead to enforcement of the decision, the enforcement of final goals, the enforcement of final. Herbert Simon, he discusses rationality in decision. Herbert Simon defines rationality as the one which is concerned with selection of preferred behavior alternative in terms of some system of value. Whereby consequences of behavior can be evaluated. Simon defines rationality in decision making as the one which is concerned with selection of preferred behavior alternative in terms of some system of values. In terms of some system of values, whereby the consequences of behavior can be evaluated. Consequences of behavior can be evaluated. What does it mean? Rationality in decision making means we will be using the best of our mental caliber to take the best decision so that we can get the best results. But the best results depends on some system of values. In the things that are liked in one country may not be liked in other country or other culture. Women with small feet may not be preferred in India or in US or in any other Western countries. But women with small feet are preferred in China. As soon as the child, the female child takes birth in China, they clamp the feet of female child so that the growth of the feet of female child should be stymied and stunted. The feet of the woman or girl will be as small as possible. That is preferred in China. That is best in China. But that may not be best in India. That's why Simon defines rationality as the one concerned with selection of preferred alternate course of action in terms of some system of values. Some system of value. Some system of value. These systems of values may vary from one country to another country or from one culture to another culture. And whereby the consequences of behavior can be evaluated. The consequences of our action should be in a position to be evaluated. That is rational. UPSC exam is not rational exam. Because UPSC, the naked truth is that UPSC targets particular optional subjects for some years. In 2012, 2013, public administration optional was targeted. In the same vein, in 2008, 2009, geography optional targeted. Randomly, it chooses some optional to target. What do you mean to say target? No candidate, most number of the candidates, they do not cross 2-digit mark either. For instance, in 2012, most number of the aspirants who took public administration optional, they didn't cross single digit either. And large chunk of aspirants, they never crossed two digit. Unfortunately, the optional that you choose is going to be targeted in next year. You are gone. Now, large chunk of aspirants, irrespective of their educational or academic background, They do their graduation in BA. They do their graduation in linguistics. Yet they take anthropology as option, which is foolish decision. You do not have any genetical or biological background, neither in intermediate education nor in graduation. Without having any academic background in genetics or biology or human anatomy, you choose anthropology as optional just because the trend is that aspirants are getting more and more marks in anthropology. But mark my words, friends, within a short span of time, this video will be in YouTube. You can watch anytime. In near future, within 1 to 3 years, definitely UPSC will target anthropology. Aspirants, as soon as they hear the word anthropology, they will be jolted from their slumber in the midnight. They will be jolted from their slumber in the midnight. That situation will come. That means if you take anthropology or for instance any optional, what would be the outcome? What would be the result? That is not in your hand. The decision is not rational. Rationality involves when you take decision, the consequences of the decision should be in a situation to be evaluated. Consequences of the decision be in a situation they should be in a situation of evaluation. We should be in a position to evaluate the results or the consequences of the decision that we have taken. That is rational. That is rational. Simon discusses 5 types of rationalities. Objective rationality, that means the behavior which maximizes given values in given situation. The behavior which maximizes given values in given situation. Subjective rationality, the decisions that maximize attainment of relative knowledge of the subject. That means your success depends on quantity of knowledge that you gain. The quantity of knowledge that you gain. For instance, your success in GRE exam depends on your caliber in English language and reasoning and arithmetic skills. Arithmetic, reasoning, and English communication. The more you have the subjective knowledge in these areas, the more will be your chances of success. That is subjectively rational. Consciously rational, adjustment of means to ends in conscious manner. UGC is going to reduce the syllabus so that in the context of corona pandemic, the start of academic year got delayed. Hence, consciously UGC cuts the syllabus. It is consciously rational. Organizationally rational. The decisions are aimed at organizational goals. If the decisions are taken in the benefit of organization, they are organizationally rational. Personally rational if the decisions are directed to individual good. The decisions are taken in the benefit of individual goals. That is personally rational. Human behavior is neither totally rational nor totally irrational. It is bounded rational. It's not totally rational. At the same time, it is not non-rational either. It is bounded rational. Why? Because of three reasons. The decision maker may not know all possible alternate courses of action. The decision maker may not know all the possible alternate courses of action. He may not know all the possible courses of all the possible alternate courses of action. All the possible alternate courses of action. For instance, after intermediate, we know medicine, engineering, especially in Telugu speaking states, they know only two alternates, either engineering or medicine. They don't know there is an exam called NDA, National Defense Academy, which gives right career in armed forces. There is a CLAT, Common Law Admission Test. If you get into top law universities in the country, you will be getting a salary which is equivalent to any engineering graduate from reputed IITs. But most of the parents from rural and semi-urban background, they might not heard about CLAT either. They might not heard about CLAT either. For instance, Nalsar University, which is one of the top law universities in the country, Dean of Nalsar University, in his interview, he told that the average campus interview pay is around 3 lakhs per month. 3 lakhs per month, which is almost, it is on par with the IIT's campus interview. Parents from semi-urban and rural background, they do not heard about CLAT either. They do not heard, they might not heard about CLAT either. The decision maker may not know all possible alternate courses of action. The decision maker may not know all possible alternate courses of action. Even if they know all possible alternate courses of action, they may not know the consequences or the results of each possible alternate course of action. Even if they know all possible alternate courses of action, they may not know the consequences of each alternate possible alternate they may not know the consequences of each possible alternate course of action. For instance, after intermediate, you will have the choice of NDA or the choice of civil services. You can go for long-term preparation for civil services, or you can go for JEE or NEET, or you can go for that. You know all the possible alternate courses of action, but you may not know the consequences. For instance, if you want to take NDA, whether you are going to be appointed as chief of any armed forces, general of army, or air chief marshal of air force, or admiral of navy, whether you are going to get that post, it is not certain. Because in armed forces, the promotion hierarchy is pyramidal. The more you climb up the ladder, the less will be the promotion, chances of promotion. Unlike for IAS, IPS, for instance, if you get selected to IPS, by the end of your career, definitely you will be promoted to additional DG rank. Definitely. Even if you get selected to IPS at late age, that is at 35 years, by the end of your career, definitely you will be promoted as additional DG. 100%. Minimum additional DG level you will be promoted. Minimum, if not Director General of Police. Additional DG is just one rank below Director General of Police. But if you take NDA, the chances of becoming Vice Chief of Armed Forces like Lieutenant General or Air Marshal or Vice Admiral, whether we are going to reach at least that rank, it is not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed even if even whether you become Major General or not. Till Brigadier, at the most it may be guaranteed. At the same time, if you take a clerk, at the young age of 20 or 25, you may be appointed as clerk of any judge of Supreme Court, in which case you will be having tremendous clout at a tender age of 24 or 25. But what are the chances that you are going to be appointed as clerk of judge of Supreme Court? Yes. What Herbert Simon says, the decision maker will be having bounded rationality because first of all, he may not know all possible alternate courses of action. Even if he knows all possible alternate courses of action, he may not know the results of all possible alternate courses of action. Even if he knows the results of all alternate possible courses of action, he may not be able to prioritize them. First, I want to become Lieutenant General. Second, I want to become IAS. Third, I want to become clerk of Supreme Court judge. Like that, he won't be able to prioritize them in a rational manner. What I mean to say that if you are given a chance of owning any of these three brands of SVUs, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, which will you choose? How you will give preference? First Audi, second BMW, third Mercedes-Benz. It will be very difficult to prioritize them in a rational manner. It's very difficult to prioritize them in a rational. This is why Herbert Simon says the decision maker takes bounded rationality. Herbert Simon discusses two types of decisions: programmed decisions and non-programmed decisions. Programmed decisions are routine, which are repetitive. For instance, every year we will have the problem of seasonal diseases like flu, fever, sneezing, cold, etc. On the other hand, non-programmed decisions are unstructured, like Corona pandemic. This is not going to come every year. It is non-structured, which requires innovation, creativity. Thank you, friends. Subscribe to Unacademy YouTube channel, share and like the videos. Use my promo code and get 10% discount. If you have any doubts or queries, please contact me on my Telegram channel, that is Unacademy underscore Kiran Anishetti. Thank you. Thanks a lot. See you in the next session with more interesting and important